Hugh Stormward wasn't paying attention to where he was going. The halls of Skyhold were still mostly empty, save for Havathi corpses and scattered Skyhold patrols. It would be hours yet, if not longer, before the bulk of Skyhold's population would be let out of the battle shelters, while Skyhold seers and patrols hunted for Havathi survivors in the mountains. You wouldn't have noticed if there had been entire parades marching through the blood-stained, battle-damaged halls, though. All his attention was focused on a spot in the back of his mind, a connection that wasn't gone, just muted, dull, unresponsive. He ignored everything but that bond, just letting Sabe pull him along by the hand. They didn't run if anybody was nearby, didn't want to call any more attention to themselves than they already might have, racing to and from the council chamber atop Skyhold. When the halls were empty, though, they ran until Hugh's lungs ached. Mackerel sent him a note of concern, but Hugh didn't have the energy to reassure his spellbook. He didn't have the energy for anything right now. He just kept poking at the frayed magical connection in his mind, like a tongue prodding a sore tooth. Just kept hoping to feel something from it. Reassurance, comfort, even pain or fear. Any sign that Kandron was still alive, still aware. Anything at all was better than this empty ache. "Is Mackerel still blocking scrying?" Sabe asked. Hugh nodded, suspecting that it wasn't the first time she'd asked. Then he went back to poking at the connection at the back of his mind. He didn't even realize they'd reached the Grand Library, Kandron's home, until Sabe gasped. When Hugh managed to focus, he saw why immediately. The library was angry. No, not angry. Enraged, maybe, or wrathful. Anger wasn't nearly enough to cover it. The endless leagues of shelves along the walls rattled and shook, more books moving at once than Hugh had ever seen before. Lights dimmed and flared seemingly at random, and he could feel the very walls trembling. Out in the empty central shaft of the library, big enough to fit an entire mountain inside, grimoires and tomes swarmed by the tens of thousands, in great flocks and whirlwinds bigger than Hugh had ever seen in the library before. Ship-sized hovering shelves darted past one another at high speeds, barely avoiding impact with other shelves, moving just as fast. And everything in the library was lit with an actinic blue glow from the depths. "It knows," Sabe said. "The library knows about Kandron's death somehow." "She's not dead," Hugh said automatically. Sabe gave him a conflicted look, but didn't say anything. Hugh let go of Sabe's hand and trudged to the railing, hoping that the blue glow was coming from immense crystal wings, even though he knew it wasn't. In the depths of the library, thousands of feet below them, an immense blue cloud boiled and seethed. Colossal crystal gears, axles, and flywheels burned with light, spinning so fast Hugh could hear the screeching and clattering from all the way up here. Mackerel shuddered nervously and drew closer to Hugh's side. "Hugh, do you think you can get us past the index to Kandron's lair?" Sabe asked. Hugh shrugged and trudged over to the nearest index node. The book was biting and flailing at the air above its podium, even tearing a few of its own pages in distress. It snapped at him when he reached for it, but before Hugh could react, Mackerel darted out and flared its cover menacingly at the larger book. The index node froze, then slowly settled back down onto its podium. Hugh dipped the quill on the node stand into the inkwell, then wrote in the enchanted book, "We need to get into Kandron's lair." Nothing happened for a moment. Then the ink of his letters exploded across the page in angry, jagged tangles. The ink warped and shifted in a visual scream, then simply vanished into the page. Hugh closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Then another, and a third, doing his best to keep them even and steady. Then he dipped the quill in the inkwell again.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.